Good evening and welcome to Face to Face for the Newsfirst team. I'm Niresh Aliatambi. Tourism is one of the key sectors of our economy, and it grows more and more important every day as we move down the road of recovery. We're expecting 3 million tourists this year, and we've already gone past the 1.5 million mark, so the going is good. But it's not just about getting more tourists. We need tourists who will spend more, who are capable of spending more, in order to ensure that we don't fall prey to the perils of over-tourism, which some of our neighboring countries are suffering from. And to discuss all this, I have with me a tourism professional who is none other than Hishan Singhawansa, CEO of Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts. Good evening, Hishan.
Good
Good
evening.
to have you on the program.
Good evening. I'm very, very happy to be here.
Right. So, Hishan, let's start with opportunities and challenges. As Sri Lanka's tourism sector bounces back, are you happy with the positioning of the country as a top tier global destination? Where would you like to see it positioned?
Okay. So, like you said, tourism is on the way up. As Cinnamon Hotels and I, as part of the tourism industry, we are very happy with the start we made to the year. From a positioning point of view, I mean, we've had in our best years 2.5 million, 2.3 million tourists in 2018, and like you said, this year we are picked to beat it. I'm not too sure whether we'll reach 3 million tourists, but definitely at these projections we'll beat 2018. So growth projections are very good. From a positioning point of view, I know there's a lot of debate around over-tourism and whether we are getting the right type of tourism. But as a island nation, island destination, if you compare against destinations like Bali, which is 1/10 the size of our island, gets about 6-7 million tourists. So we're nowhere close to those kind of over-tourism levels. I know we have few locations, destinations within the country that have a problem of that, like places like Yala, places like Sigiriya. But my belief is, as a destination, we need to diversify the offerings we have to spread across the country beyond the beaches that we are, known for. And there's a lot of, I believe that there's a lot of potential in positioning Sri Lanka as a very diverse tourism destination.
Right. Now, tourists, the modern day tourist is looking for an immersive experience. Gone are the days when tourists will come and just lie on the beach and get a suntan and swim around. They want to participate. They love the cultural and adventure aspects and so on. How can the tourism industry shape our country's reputation as a location of authentic culture, food, and so on?
Okay, before we dive into it, like at Cinnamon, for us, our purpose, what we say, is to bring the best of Sri Lanka to the world with style and elegance. And when we say what is best of Sri Lanka, best of Sri Lanka, we believe, is the warmth, the connection, the generosity we have in our people, and what we have to offer. And when you look at the new traveler, there are two types of travelers, I think. One traveler does it for the Instagram, want to show that, I'm here, look at me. But we believe we want to kind of cater to this other kind of traveler who wants to come and connect with the people, connect with the place that they travel, to the food, the culture, and our purpose is built around enabling that so that they can connect with themselves. If I can kind of dive into a little bit, I have a little story. When I travel around, meet people around the world, I met one gentleman in the UK who also owns a hotel company. So every time I get to speak to them, I ask them, have you been to Sri Lanka? Do you like it? The first reaction from this gentleman was, I love Sri Lanka. I've been to Sri Lanka many times, but he told me the story of first time when he traveled. He had spent 10 days traveling around Sri Lanka, going across the beaches, the beautiful places we have in the middle of the country. And he had told his guide, I want to have a Sri Lankan authentic meal. Then the guide had said, okay, no problem, I'll arrange it. On the way back from somewhere in Habarana, he had stopped in an open place, open area, and they've been escorted up. And there had been a setup of, preparing lunch. And this preparation was done by the guide's family. And with the kids and the family of the guide serving the kids and the family of this tourist. And that memory, that is the kind of warmth, the generosity, the connection that really connected to him. And then that story is lasting a lifetime with him. So that's what we believe that most travelers want, to have that kind of deeper connection. So I believe definitely as a country we have a lot to offer, and the people are naturally generous and warm, and that's something that we can definitely bring to the world.
Right. So that's one of those lovely stories that you get this from many tourists who are repeat visitors and who are not just happy to get on a tourist coach and be bussed from Negombo to Anuradhapura to Polonnaruwa and Kandy and down south. So that's indeed an excellent story. Now, Hishan, in Sri Lanka, we have so many resort areas which are fairly famous. You've got Sigiriya, as you mentioned, Kandy, Negombo, Galle, Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, all that. But Colombo itself is not so famous. When you think of other cities in South Asia and Southeast Asia, we're not Kuala Lumpur, we're not Singapore, we're not Bangkok or Chennai or Mumbai. Colombo was a fairly ordinary city, especially when you compare it to a place like Sigiriya, which is magnificent. But now we see Colombo sort of developing and coming into its own. And of course, your group of companies has a fair amount to do with that. How do you see the future of Colombo and its infrastructure, and what are the needs?
Yeah, so Colombo, we're very, very bullish about Colombo. And I think Colombo has also evolved if you go back 10 years ago, the Colombo right now is unrecognizable. If you go to the Colombo 2 area, especially where we have Cinnamon Life at City of Dreams, there's ITC, there's Shangri-La, it's a totally different Colombo than what it used to be. And I believe Colombo as a destination has also evolved from this 10 years ago transit location, where you come in just before you fly out. So now with our tourist numbers growing, and we are right at the right place, I believe. We are very next door to India, the largest, fastest growing economy in the world, and Indian outbound travel is really supercharging this growth to Colombo. If you look at Colombo, a few years ago, we had about 5,000 rooms. Now we have about 30% more than that. But occupancy-wise, this year, these couple of months have been very, very good compared to even previously. So there is this appetite for Colombo growing. And I believe Colombo has also transformed in terms of a destination which is vibrant. We have a long way to go in terms of making sure that we attract and develop this destination. But compared to, you asked me about Singapore and Dubai and Kuala Lumpur, we are not comparable to those destinations yet, but we have also the right ingredients to be the entertainment hub for all of India. We are very close to India. We have a lot of air connectivity from India. Especially southern India is growing faster than most of India. So all that potential of outbound from India, it's easier to come to Colombo than travel within India. So I believe definitely Colombo has much more potential, and over the next few years, this growth will supercharge the rest of Sri Lanka as well.
Right. Now, to give our viewers a little bit more information about Hishan, Hishan, of course, oversees Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, which is part of the leisure arm of John Keel's Holdings. And Hishan also serves as the Executive Vice President at John Keel's Group and as a board member of John Keel's Hotels PLC. And he has nearly 2 decades of experience, and all of it has been within the John Keel's Group in different sectors. Hishan is also a member of the board of directors of the Sri Lanka Conventions Bureau and a committee member of the Hotels Association of Sri Lanka. So my next question, Hishan, is about MICE tourism, because you are on the board of the Conventions Bureau. Now, again, Colombo has limited MICE facilities. We still depend on the BMICH to a large extent, which is a magnificent building, but it is perhaps outdated when you compare with our competitor cities in Southeast Asia and South Asia. What do we need to boost MICE tourism in the city?
So MICE tourism is, I believe, the fastest growing area in Colombo. Especially, I mean, we've just opened City of Dreams, Sri Lanka, and Cinnamon Life. We have one Cinnamon Life hotel in that, another Nua hotel. And we have, with that investment, the largest private sector investment in the country, invested a lot into this space of MICE. We have spaces for 5,000 capacity in total, 11 different spaces. So now I believe with this investment, Colombo also has been put on the map as a good MICE destination. Confidence in Colombo and as a MICE destination is indicative from the fact that we have Melco International as a gaming partner for City of Dreams Sri Lanka, where they showed that confidence in the city of Colombo and coming up with the world class. They're one of the biggest in the world who came and partnered with us in that endeavor. So I believe Colombo as a MICE destination is just starting. We have invested a lot in that, in terms not only in the infrastructure here, but also marketing it, especially in India. And I think definitely compared to Indian cities, for Indians to travel, Colombo is a much more attractive destination. I mean, it's much greener, it's less, traffic is less. I know we complain about Colombo traffic, but compared to other major cities, it's much less to get around. And airport connectivity is good from the airport. But definitely there are other areas that we have to improve to kind of really go on par with bigger destinations. Entertainment is a big part that we need to really improve the entertainment in Colombo and what tourists can do when they come to the city. And there are a few things that we need to get done in terms of allowing more entertainment facilities, not only like big concerts, attracting big, theater, entertainment into the city. So there's a lot of work that has to be done around it. And also in terms of Convention Bureau, I'm part of the Convention Bureau. There's a lot more we can do in terms of being more visible and getting the story of Colombo out. So I believe definitely Colombo as a MICE destination is just starting, and over the next few years we believe that it will transform the city of Colombo.
Right, and I'm just wondering, as a destination, are we able to attract the segments which are more high spending? For example, if you take families with children, and those of us with children, we know that when you go with the family, you tend to spend a lot of money. But we don't get very many foreign tourists bringing their entire families, because we don't have theme parks or other attractions which children love. I mean, in these water parks and things like that. Do we need to make some investment for family tourism? And also, what about the shopping area? I mean, Sri Lankans are still traveling overseas for their shopping. They'll go to Bangkok or Singapore or Dubai rather than shop in Colombo. What do you think of those
Yeah,
aspects?
definitely. I think those are two areas will definitely help, but it's a factor of demand as well. When tourism demand improves, you can argue it's chicken and egg, but when demand grows up, then the bigger brands around entertainment, theme parks, shopping will move in. But from our point of view, I think, Colombo as a destination has also evolved and has also invested in these areas. Now, even we have good world-class malls now in the city. 10 years ago, we didn't have any of those things. So I think the experience is getting much better. Talking about the right segment of tourists, alluding to your first question about positioning also, we will never be a Maldives as a destination. We are not going to be this niche luxury destination. We are a big island, so we'll have to attract different types of tourists, and we have the size and scale to offer different experiences for different types of tourists, and that's what I think we should focus on. And I believe with right positioning, right Sri Lanka branding, the right type of tourists will come, and especially being so close to India, the demand will drive the right spending patterns also into the country.
Right. You mentioned the Maldives, and I believe you have about 4 hotels there under you as well.
Yes.
How do you synergize the Maldives and Sri Lanka? I know that during the war, when we were trying to attract tourists to Sri Lanka, we did tie up a lot, where spend 3 nights there and 4 nights here, kind of thing.
Yes.
That worked at the time. What's the situation now, and what would you like to see with the two countries and their synergies?
I think still there is packages like that where tourists come for a cultural experience in Sri Lanka and go to the beach in Maldives. So that is part of the kind of synergized offering. But as two destinations, we are diverse, we are different. Maldives is a more one island, seclusion, getting away from everything, beautiful beaches, luxury, positioned as a luxury destination. And Sri Lanka is different to that. We have more engagement, people, culture, food that you have to experience. So although we work together well, and we work with the same partners across Europe, India to bring tourists in, these are two different segments in terms of how we attract and market to them.
Right. And where else do you want our product developed? Because when it's tourism, every country needs to reinvent itself. When you go to Singapore, what you see this year won't be the same as what you see in about 3 years' time. They reinvent themselves quite a bit. What do you think we should do to reinvent ourselves? I know it's a constant process,
Yes.
but anything that you see which you would think needs is an opportunity for reinventing?
I think Colombo is reinventing itself in terms of a new contemporary Colombo built around entertainment. So definitely there is a lot more to do in Colombo to reinvent ourselves as a real tourist destination, especially targeting the Indian demand coming through. But rest of Sri Lanka, I believe, like going back to the first part of our conversation, that authentic experience. We have very diverse offerings across Sri Lanka. If you look at the beaches, you have the hill country, you have the cultural triangle, and the east coast and the north is also untapped, and there are definitely different diverse experiences. So if we focus on really enabling tourists to engage with this diverse authentic experience, I don't think we have to reinvent anything. Like compared to Singapore, which is a small island, definitely they don't have that space and scope to do anything. They have to reinvent themselves in that space. But for us, we are a big island, and we have multiple offerings, and I think we have really not tapped that. And 2.3 million tourists is a very small number in the global scheme of things, and we have potential to grow this. So definitely, like my thinking or my thought in this is really focus on delivering this authentic experience of what Sri Lanka has to offer, and people will appreciate it.
Interesting indeed. You mentioned the East Coast. Has it reached its potential? Is there a lot more that we can do with it? We have Trincomalee, we have Arugambe, and so on. How do you envisage the East Coast developing? Because the East Coast has some of our best beaches.
Yeah, so I believe, kind of going back to the first question of potential, how do you unlock this potential? Definitely, one of the things that will really unlock the East Coast and the north of this country is connectivity. I know the government is working on making Palalia International Airport, but road connectivity, the Central Highway, will cut down access to East Coast time and improve the time to East Coast, and that will be the real catalyst for that growth, we believe. So as you can remember, before the Southern Highway, places like Mirissa, Tangol, Lahangama were not tourist destinations. With the Southern Highway coming up, now all that really unlocked. I believe when we get the Central Highway going, which we have started the first phase as well now, and that will really unlock the East Coast. It'll cut down travel time from 6 hours to 4 hours. And we have the offering. The investment will pour into that area when the demand is coming through.
Excellent. We need to take a short break now. I am in conversation with Hishan Singhawansa, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Over. 8 nations, 1 dream. The battle begins. Asia's biggest cricket clash returns. Asia Cup 2025 starts September 9th. Feel the roar. Catch all the action only on TV1.
අපි ඇත්තටම නපුරු පිටසක් වලෙක් මේ ලෝකෙට ගෙන්නමු.
හවස මාමාටම ගෙන්නමුද?
දැන් ඉක්මනටම නපුරු පිටසක්වල ජීවින්ව හොයන්න ඕනේ.
මේ ඔයා යාට තේරුම් කරන්නකෝ.
හැමදාම හවස පහයිතියට නිකි.
කන්නවත මට පෙන්නනවා තමුන්ගේ හැඳුනුම් පත.
ඇයි අනේ සෙමි බොයි කිව්වම හැමෝම දන්නේ.
ඔයා හිතන්නේත් මං හිතපු දේවද?
මොනාද නංගි හිතා ඉන්නේ හැමදාම පහයිතියට සිරස ටීවී බලන්න.
සෙමි බොයි.
සතියේ දිනවල හවස 5:30ට සිරස ටීවී ඔස්සේ.
Welcome back to Face to Face. I am with Hishan Singhawansa, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts. Now, Hishan, before the break, you mentioned the connectivity to the East Coast, especially once the highway is or the expressway is completed, namely to the Kurunegala stretch, and also, of course, there is a Kandy Highway, which is also mooted. Right. Now, I'd like to ask you, it's not just about expressways. I mean, that would be lovely, and I'm sure it'll be, a new dimension. But we have a lot of tourists who love to take the train or the bus, and especially with Ella and the Nine Arches Bridge, and it's gotten so famous that tourists just love to take that train. But you also have tourists who take the bus from Peta all the way to Arugambe. Now, what about those aspects? Buses, trains, we need to develop that area, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think when demand comes through, investment has to follow. I believe there's a lot of opportunity to improve in those areas. And one of the things I believe that can also help is digitizing some of those, the train booking system, access to all the destinations. Most of the travelers now are very digitally connected. So we need to enable them to be agile in terms of their bookings, having visibility in terms of how can they get to different places faster. And that's an area definitely we need to improve on. And I believe there's some work around it, and hopefully we'll get to that level, and that will really ease up the congestion. We can manage the over-tourism element of some destinations, but also to kind of manage the logistics around it. So yes, I think definitely in an area that needs a little bit more attention.
Right. And speaking of accessibility, a lot of our tourists, well, a significant number, are elderly persons, retired people, especially those package tourists from Europe. But we still, as a nation, as a society, we have an issue with accessibility. Wheelchair access to public areas, to restaurants, and so on. I think the hotels themselves are quite accessible and wheelchair friendly and so on. But what about our public spaces? Don't we need to develop those a bit more, specifically keeping accessibility in mind?
Yeah, so we definitely, the world is aging, and we get a lot of tourists who will come with this requirement. And from a hotel's point of view, like you mentioned, we work with tour operators who have these requirements. And over the years, we've been always, focusing on those elements. But in our public spaces, I believe it has improved over the years in terms of accessibility and the focus on it. But yes, as new destinations open up in the country, new spaces open up for tourists, the accessibility part also has to catch up. And I think there is focus, but it has to kind of fast track in terms of getting there faster.
Right. And in terms of connectivity to Sri Lanka, there were times, of course, during the war and so on, there were very few airlines flying here. There wasn't much demand. Those that flew didn't fly on a daily basis and so on. But now we see a lot more airlines, a lot more which are having daily flights or multiple flights a day. Do we need a change here as well? Do we need airlines which will come in with better classes? Now, we have, of course, for example, Sri Lankan Airlines has economy and business, but you do get airlines in the world which have multiple classes. Do we need that kind of thing? How do we improve that airline connectivity to Sri Lanka?
Airline connectivity has also been improving. I think it's a factor of demand as well. We have from Middle Eastern carriers, the connectivity has improved a lot, like multiple daily flights. I think the opportunity is really activating other airports. We have the Matala airport, we have another airport, international airport in the north. So if we get that also activated and attract more flights to come into those destinations, that will really open up our demand, our potential to attract more tourists. I think India, again, connectivity through India is improving, but I feel like there's much more to do, especially connecting to that MICE conversation we had earlier. If we are to attract MICE travelers, they come in, groups of 300, 400, sometimes 1,000. So one destination, like example from Delhi to Colombo, 1,000 people traveling. We don't have a daily connectivity to kind of funnel that through. So we need more connectivity. Definitely, we need more connectivity to kind of drive that MICE volume in. Airport, BIA, is also kind of a bottleneck. I think the government has also identified that as an area to improve. And within the current facilities also, we believe the capacity can be improved. And that's a really important factor to fix over the very short term for us to attract these new tourists coming in. Because the tourist experience at arrival is important. If you're stuck in a queue for 45 minutes, that's not a good first impression of the destination. So I think there's definitely area that we need to focus as a country to improve, and I think government is working on it.
Well, you're absolutely right, because the first time I flew into New York, I had to wait 3 hours in the immigration queue. And then the second time I flew to the US, I said, I'm not flying into New York, I'll fly into another city in the US. So you're absolutely right, the first impression does matter. And we do have some kind of issue at BIA at the moment. Social media has too many clips of people waiting in long queues, but hopefully that will be sorted out. And we do have, I think, the project for the new terminal coming in as well. So hopefully those things will work out. But what about domestic flights? Again, you mentioned air connectivity internationally to Matala and Palali, Jaffna. But what about internal domestic flights?
Domestic flights also will definitely open up, certain destinations. But I think as a country, if we get our expressways going, that will solve most of our problems. But for a kind of luxury traveler, we were talking about the positioning of this country. We attract luxury travelers, and we have at John Kills, we have Cinnamon Air, where we take charter flights, taking them to all sorts of destinations around the country, and that has enough demand. I believe that will also improve, and that's an area that if you are really focused on luxury positioning and attracting the luxury traveler is a definite area to focus on.
Right. And you spoke of positioning. What about nation branding? Now, you have brand campaigns which have been highly successful in other countries. You have Malaysia, Truly Asia, you have Incredible India, you have the sunny side in the Maldives. But here in Sri Lanka, we haven't got that right yet. What would you like to see in that respect?
I think like many forums, even we speak about the low-hanging fruit of tourism as a growth engine for the country. And to kind of really get that moving, we all believe that from the industry, a marketing campaign, a country brand campaign will definitely help. And we've seen evidence of it. If you look at countries like Myanmar back in the day, Vietnam, Malaysia, when they had this country campaign, they saw up to about 30% growth in tourist arrivals over the next couple of years. So that's a big jump from our normal 15 to 10% growth that we've seen. So that will really help us drive this tourism numbers up and the right tourist in terms of getting to the country. I think I definitely know that the government has looked at this as an important area, and they've recently appointed this task force, which our chairman is also part of, and that's an indication of how important they see that this opportunity is, and hopefully we'll get this out fast. But I mean, for the last 10 years, we haven't been able to do it due to the processes more than anything else. So I believe if the government and the private sector has that will to do it, which they've shown, this will get going. But I would also like to say it's not only from the government point of view. As big brands in this country, as Cinnamon, we also take it as our responsibility to market Sri Lanka, the destination. And especially when we invest a lot in the country, we have to also market. I think most of the brands in this country have taken that responsibility, and over the years we poured in a lot of money into marketing the Sri Lanka brand rather than our own brand.
Right. And where branding is concerned, or nation branding, do we have clarity? Are we clear on what we want to market about this country? Because I can remember at least 6 different country slogans over the past, I guess, about 30 years or less. And that's sort of confusing. And none of those slogans was very catchy. It's unfortunate because we are a country with such rich, diverse offerings, but none of those slogans, those 6 or 7, actually really captured Sri Lanka, especially when you're a foreigner looking at a new destination. And if you have a slogan which is confusing or not very clear, that defeats the purpose. So do we have that clarity? Do we know what we want to market as Sri Lanka?
I think it goes back to that what the best of Sri Lanka is about. I think slogan definitely matters. It has to be clearly understood, translated to some action, but I believe the current administration is working on building around that, the country brand rather than a Visit Sri Lanka brand or something like that. So definitely we need to kind of go into the core of what the best of Sri Lanka is, which is the kind of the warmth, the connection, the generosity I spoke about. And if we kind of encapsulate that as the key country brand message, people will understand it and people will want to travel to Sri Lanka for that authentic experience. So there is definitely opportunity to clarify for sure. And I think the administration with the partnership with the private sector is working on this.
Right. And let's talk about markets. Now, traditionally, a few decades ago, perhaps our markets were the UK, Germany, France, and then the rest of the countries. But that has given way to a more diversified portfolio. Yes, those European markets are still important, but now we have India in a big way, we have China, and so on, and of course Russia. But how do you feel about which markets we should be focusing on? Are there any other new markets we should look at? What's your take on that one?
I think Europe is still a big part of the travel into Sri Lanka, Europe and our traditional markets. So that will definitely have a part to play or place in our tourism industry. But the growth will come from India. If I talk about Indian outbound travel, I mean, last year, I think they had about 30 million people traveling outbound, and that number is expected to grow to about 100 million over the next 10 years. So we get about 500, 600,000 of them right now out of the 30 million. But if this number triples, we are really in a good place to take advantage of it. So that's where the growth will come. And like I said, Colombo as a destination or Colombo as a place will be the place that will take most of that advantage. But I mean, short haul travel has also improved. I think that's where the demand is moving into overall globally. So we need to really focus on the short haul travel, and economic growth in the world is also moving towards the east. So India, China, Southeast Asia, that's where the economic growth is happening, and half the population of the world is also around our neighborhood.
Right.
So there is huge potential in terms of tourist numbers growing from those economies.
Right. Now, you mentioned India as one of the countries, the markets of focus, but India itself it's not one market. You have so many states, so many different cultures within India. Should we be focusing on any particular areas of India? Are we looking at Mumbai or the South or New Delhi? What's our best strategy?
So if you look at, definitely Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai are the big four cities that generates most of the travel outbound. And from Cinnamon point of view also, we have set up offices there to really drive the message of Sri Lanka. But if you look at holistically as India, I said it's the fastest growing large economy in the world. And South India, the 5 states in the south are growing much faster than the rest of India. And that's where the economic potential for much more travel to come out of. So I think definitely South India is closer to Sri Lanka. The travel times are much shorter. And that's an immediate focus, I believe, that as a country we can benefit out of.
And it's right next door, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's and we share so many similarities in culture as well, so it should be easier to market there.
Yes.
Right. And one more question. We used to be a destination which was season and off season. And that correlated with the winter season of Europe. But now I think the industry has been trying its best to become a year-round destination, and especially when you have large investments like Cinnamon, you want your rooms to be full as much as possible year-round. What's the strategy there?
Yes, so again, year-round, we've been a seasonal destination because we marketed the beach, and beach needs the sun. So that's why we've always been a winter, summer kind of, and when Europe is in winter, they like to come to the beach, and that has been the traditional market. So when we diversify offering beyond the beach into more immersive, authentic experience-led, travel, and Colombo, rain or shine, has to deliver this entertainment hub. So those that will really drive Sri Lanka as a year-round destination. And even the beach, if we get the access to the East Coast, the summer period of the Northern Hemisphere, that's a good beach destination. The monsoon is on the other side. Right. So we have, like I said, like Sri Lanka as a island has a lot of things to offer. And we have to think beyond the beach in terms of making it a year-round destination.
Right, and we are almost out of time. Your final thoughts on the future of Sri Lanka's tourism industry?
I think we are very, very optimistic about Sri Lanka and tourism industry. We are at the cusp of a big growth trajectory, we believe. And again, because we are so close to India, and that will be the kind of growth engine for us. One of the things I want to kind of also note here, we need to be ready for this growth. And that's a thing that I believe none of us are kind of focused enough on in terms of getting ready for this doubling the tourist numbers into the country from destination readiness levels, different offerings, but more importantly on getting our people. We need more people coming into the industry, and there is a lot of demand across the globe that tourist professionals are attracted to across Middle East. So we will have a problem if we are not ready for it.
Right. So let me just ask you briefly about that. What about the human resources? How do we prepare for that?
So one big thing we believe is getting, if you look at our industry professional, we have about direct, indirect, about 500,000 people working around the hospitality industry in Sri Lanka. But if you look at hotels, specifically, we have a very low participation from women. It's about 12-15%. So which is very, very bad compared to global standards. What it means is literally we are not kind of mobilizing half the population into the industry. And if we are to kind of get this growth going and demand to, cater to this demand, we need to attract more people into the industry, especially women. And that's a big area that as a brand Cinnamon is also working on. We are currently at about 20% of our population, but we believe that number has to improve for our future.
And I'm afraid we are out of time. Hishan Singhawansa, CEO of Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away because the news is coming up next. Have a great evening.